Here with Ron and Jennifer Marshall, two of our realism artists on the platform. We've just got a few questions for them today. So, do you guys want to tell us all about your light horse art that you've been well known for?
Well, in 2005, Ron, out of the blue, said he'd like to paint the light horse, and I thought, why would anyone want to paint war? Not knowing our history. So we went to a light horse reenactment in Monto, and I was impressed by the enthusiasm of the horses, and we were lent 2 spur magazines and a book by Ellen Mitchell, Chabelle's daughter. And upon reading the stories, the true stories of the light horsemen and their horses, I felt very deeply compelled that basically my purpose in life was to paint these stories. And we'd been painting history, Australian history before, because it's a good excuse to paint horses. So yes, we then started painting these stories.
No, it's quite incredible. As Ron was showing me before, that you've actually got your paintings put on medallions. So do you want to explain that to me, Ron?
Two of our paintings, we were approached by a firm in Canberra.
Yeah.
And
military shop.
The military shop in Canberra, and they wanted to use 2 of our images on medallions.
Yeah.
And so we gave them the okay to go ahead with it, and they produced these medallions and also bar runners and stubby holders and things like that.
Is this an example of one of them down here, Ron?
Oh yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So for the viewer, that's what
And this one.
bit of merchandise that got converted from
This
their
is
artwork.
the
Real good look. Pretty amazing.
this is the this one was actually put on the certificate.
And you guys said you weren't business people.
Well, it wasn't up to us that did it.
Sorry, what was this one for again?
It was put on the certificate given to Malcolm Turnbull, the Governor-General of New Zealand, and Benjamin Netanyahu on the 31st of December last year.
This one here? Yeah. No, it's very cool.
You've got a picture of them being presented? They
So,
were presented to those Prime Ministers and the Governor-General of New Zealand at the opening of the Beersheba Anzac Memorial.
yeah, that's very cool.
That's there somewhere.
So your light horse stuff has been very prolific, but we're Outback Creative, you're Outback Creative as well. So would you mind telling us about this one behind you here?
Well, the Nebo Shire Council wanted us to paint pictures of the town as we see from original photographs that were taken by a miner in the 1880s.
Yeah.
And so we
went out there and we absolutely loved the landscape. It was a beautiful setting for a town. And one of the early settlers, one of the first ones, was a professional photographer.
Yeah.
So he left a wonderful legacy of photos. And for this particular painting, we put together 3 of his photos.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
yes, and no one had done that before.
Yeah.
We identified this corner of this building has that tree with this lantern on it. Yes, it matches.
Pieced it all together.
Yes, pieced it all together. So that's the main street of Mount Britain as it would have appeared in 1882.
And Mount Britain's a gold mining town, was it?
Yes, it was a little gold mining town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Cobb and Co. sent 2 coaches up from Melbourne in the 1800s and 2 drivers and 60 horses, I think, 60 horses. And they arrived up there and it was bustling. They were taking people out to the gold fields, which was about a 100-kilometre run from the coach, and within a month they were bringing more people back to Mackay than what they were taking out, because word had got out that gold had run short and it wasn't worth going up there. So
Yeah.
Cobb and Co. It's one of the only businesses that they had in Australia that went broke.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So you actually have, unfortunately we don't have it with us at the moment, but there's one called Packing Up the Pub, is it called?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's a
Move the pub.
Move the Pub, so there's a bunch of bricks on the back of a horse and cart moving the pub around as well. Fortunately we don't have this piece here for the video, but so you've done the Light Horse series and then you've got your Mount Britain series. Is there anything else you like to paint at all?
Well, we both like to paint landscapes.
Yeah.
And I've also done some bird life.
Yeah.
Or what I should say, animal life.
Is that one of yours up there?
No.
Oh.
No. That was a
Blooper.
birthday present for Ron
It's a
last
blooper
year.
reel. Anyway, carry on.
So yes, we both do landscapes. Horses are a specialty. In '92, that's going back a fair bit, I visited the Gatton Heavy Horse Field Day and took masses of photos of the Clydesdales, and I have a particular love for Clydesdales.
Yeah.
So I've done quite a number of Clydesdales, and what else? Oh, any horses really.
Horses.
Yes, mostly stock horses, but
What?
I was asked to paint a beautiful thoroughbred. We went and saw him, and I got a feel for his character, but the owner just wanted him winning the race, so I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
He wasn't interested in the horse as a person. I was interested in the horse as a horse person, you know. They all have their own character and feelings.
Personality.
Yeah, personality. He was only interested in the money he could make.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So the other thing I've got to ask with all painters is, what's the most difficult thing to paint? Say if you had a horse, is it the snout, the nose, the eyes? What do you think's what takes you the most time?
I don't know.
That's difficult.
That's difficult. No, I find those features are easy.
Yeah.
It depends how well you know your subject.
Yeah.
If you're trying to teach someone to draw a horse, they can basically get the shape.
Yeah.
Most people have difficulty with the feet.
Yeah.
All of them have difficulty with the flank area,
Okay.
the hip and the flank, because there's no line to go by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, your contour lines.
Yes.
So,
Yes, it's all shape and shading.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the same everywhere, but they seem to have more difficulty with that area.
Yeah. Okay. How about paintings with, say, the one behind you, multiple subjects? Is it hard to bring a personality out of each one, or you got to think what each particular?
Well, when I do it, I always imagine what the character is feeling.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at that painting, there's quite a number of conversations going on. These fellas over here.
Yeah.
Before we started the painting, with these photographs that we got out of the book, there was no figures in it. All those figures, the bullet team, all the figures we've imagined and put them in place there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've sorted through our library of many of our own photos and other historical photos.
Yeah.
Now, in this one here, I'll just point out, that's actually Ron
Yeah.
and his friend Ray.
Yeah.
And this is Dustin Daniels
Yeah.
and a horse I bred, changed a bit. And that's Ron there again, talking to Gibson, who owns a store further up, and he's delivering some bread.
Actually, the baker was in some. That's the
Yeah,
baker.
the baker was in the original photo.
He was in the original
Yes.
photos with the bread on his head.
That's awesome.
Now, if you look very closely, there's actually a tabby cat here.
Okay.
Now, what's the tabby cat looking at? The bread or the magpie?
Probably the magpie.
Probably.
Well, it's a bit hard to know.
Yes.
It could be both, really.
Could be. Now, see that lantern and this
Or the
tree?
lantern.
That was in the photo, original photo, was it came to here.
Yeah.
From here to here. And then there was another photo at a different angle of this, and another photo at a different angle of this. So we've sort of put them all together and worked out where they were. Now, here's the bullocky leaning on one of his hoods.
Yeah.
Talking to this young lady and a little boy who's got a rope, which is 2 ropes joined together, to a little pup. Look at his toes. See,
Yeah.
I like interesting details.
Yeah.
And this fella's having a chat. This one is the pack horse postie. He's arriving, and there's a conversation going up there, and there's 2 dogs doing what dogs do.
That's
All those buildings in the background, the bark buildings, they are actually from the original photo.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So, all the buildings.
Now, the mountains, it was a black and white photo.
Yeah.
But because of the distance, the mountains weren't showing.
Yeah.
But so we got on the spot where it was and took photos of where, because the council had put signs up where all these buildings were. And we took photos of the mountain range, and then we had something to go to put them in behind all the buildings. So
That's amazing.
it's all created. It's none of that existed except the buildings.
Okay, so we only got time for one more question.
Yeah. Well, sorry, we might as well wrap it up here now.
I was just thinking we could talk about them coming together as individuals into a partnership and how that happened.
Yeah. Well, do you want to shed a little bit of light on that? Like, you worked on this canvas together, didn't you, as well?
Yes.
So.
Well, when we first met, tell how we first met.
Well, I went into
It's a
this
long
particular
story.
gallery, and the gallery owner was talking to this old man, and Ron he was recovering from a major operation at the time, and he looked older than he really was. But we had seen each other's work, admired each other's work, but never met before, and we just sort of clicked, got on very well. And the next few times we met was also in that gallery, and then down the track we did a series of paintings for a airport mural competition, which we won. And
it was hanging up in the Mackay Airport there was 3 huge murals. 4 huge murals. One of them was about as wide as this room, as big as that wall just about. And they were hanging there for about 3 years.
I think they're in the
They're still up there in
Information Centre, Mackay Information Centre now.
Now this painting is at the actual site. The council have built a little roof with a sign, inside under it. They got the sign. It's about 6 or 7 feet. It'll be 2 metres by it's about 7 foot high, I suppose.
Yeah.
And with a print of that picture there, and the story is all printed underneath in type on the. It's a
And that's on the side.
vinyl print. There's 2